My name is Alex Dworjan. I'm an Ansible specialist, and I'm going to be walking through the new automation dashboard that's available as part of the Ansible Automation Platform. Whenever you're using a tool, it can be important to show what value you're actually getting out of it. That's the entire purpose of the automation dashboard. So it actually connects to your existing automation platform clusters, and using the actual data from your automation, it can tell you exactly what sort of savings you're achieving. So look at all the job templates, how long they run for, how often they're running, and you'll provide some calculations based on how much it manually costs to run those jobs, how much automation costs, and you can even add in how much time it takes to write the automation. So all of that can give you a pretty clear ROI. You may be familiar with automation analytics that's on console.rideout.com. This is similar to that. However, the entirety of this lives in your on-premise environment, or really wherever you install it. So I don't have to worry about sending this data externally to my environment. It can all be maintained on the exact same place that my automation platform cluster is. So while this is a RHEL 9 containerized deployment, it doesn't really matter what type of deployment I use. So I can connect this to RPM, containerized, managed cloud. It gives you the freedom to connect to 3 different clusters as long as they're all in the same version of the automation platform. For the access control, since again, this is all on-prem, it's going to use your AAP access control. So it's just going to leverage OAuth to connect to that using users that you've already created with the access controls that you've already set up. So again, I don't need a Red Hat account to do this, unlike the automation analytics. I can just leverage what exists in my automation platform. And last but not least, as you start creating reports, I can export them and save them and share them with others so everyone can pretty easily see a report for a networking team versus an application organization, or maybe there are certain specific job templates I want to create reports off of. I can set all those filters up, save them, and then share them with other personnel, whether it's via PDF or CSV. Maybe I can then import them into other tools, but this gives you a pretty easy way to set up reports that others can just take advantage of. So let's jump into a demonstration in terms of how to set up Automation Dashboard and then what it looks like. So let's jump into the live demonstration. As you can see, I'm already logged into a host as a non-root user. I've also already got the installer downloaded and placed on this server. There is a bundled and non-bundled installer. In this case, I'm using the non-bundled installer just because I have online access and it's just a little bit smaller of a file to get it all set up. But first step is just going to be untarring that particular bundle, and then I'm going to change the directory. And then I do need to install some pieces, so I need to make sure Ansible Core is actually installed because the installer will use Ansible Core to do its process. And then there are some collections that actually need to get installed as well for the installer to actually work properly. Those are kind of the main pieces. The rest is just going to be setting up the inventory just like you would for really any other process where I install the automation platform. So within this folder, you'll see that there's an inventory.example. So generally for this, you'll change the pieces that matter to you. So there really are 2 main components: the automation dashboard, which you'll change to be your fully qualified domain name. I would recommend keeping Ansible connection local since I'm just installing all of this on that single RHEL 9 VM. You do want to make sure you change the auth provider to match your version of AAP. I'm on 2.6, so I'll change this. You have to do your client ID and client secret, which I'll walk through in just a second. And then you may want to add in some pieces like change the default port from 8447 to 443 if I'm going to use HTTPS. You may want to add in your own certs. And then just like in the normal inventory, you need to set up the database, your actual usernames and passwords. If you're using the online installer, make sure you set up the registry username and password. And then I do need to actually set up my dashboard username and password as well as the PG stuff. So I'm not using the bundle installer, so I'm going to keep this false. But what I'm going to do is, because I already have a inventory previously set up, I'm going to copy it in here. And basically everything is ready to go except for actually setting up that client ID and client secret. So I'm going to do that now. So if I go into the automation platform, I'm logged in as an admin user. And I'm going to scroll down in the access management section to OAuth applications. I'm going to create a new OAuth app. You can really name this whatever you want. I know they give you an example when you go through this, but you can give this essentially whatever fun name that you want. So I'm going to call this, new dashboard assign it to an organization. I'll use my infrastructure org. You can skip URL and description. I do want authorization code and confidential. And then there is a copy and paste link that I'll include also in the description down below for the redirect URI. So in this case, it's going to be the fully qualified domain name of the dashboard that I'm setting up. If I was using this on a non-standard port like that 8447, I'd have to add that in, but I've modified my inventory to change it to be 443, so I can leave that out. And then I can just click save. Then I've got a client ID that I can paste into my inventory here. And then the client secret right below it. This also isn't a bad time to generate a token because I will need a token for another piece in a minute. So I'm going to also go into my user, go to user details, and go to API tokens. I'm going to create a new token for that OAuth that I just created. And I just need read scope. Click create. And now I've got a token, which I'm just going to save and use for later. But really all I need to do now is actually run the installer. Since I've already set up my inventory, I pointed to my hosts, and I'm just going to run the installer using Ansible Playbook. And this is going to go through that process. I'm going to skip ahead to when the install is done, and I'm going to show you what you need to do once the installation is complete. So the install did complete successfully. I can actually see that I can log in, but it's not actually connected to any of my clusters, so I still need to do that portion. Inside the installer, there was an example cluster inventory that exists. So this is basically what you'd set up to connect to your existing cluster or clusters to actually pull the data and have access to that ROI. But conveniently enough, I do already have a previous one that I've set up just to make my process easier. And if you notice in mine, I'm going to put in access token, refresh token, client ID, and client secret. I've got this set up so it'll actually do the automatic refresh as needed. So if I've got a short-lived token, it'll handle that process for me and go through everything and add it in. And because I have valid SSL certs, I can keep that true. Now I want to sync every 5 minutes, so I can have pretty, accurate and useful information as I go through this. So because I conveniently enough kept up the token and refresh token before, I can just paste in the access token, paste in the refresh token, and then I can steal the client ID and client secret from my inventory. And that should be just about it. So this gives you really everything that you need to actually connect to your existing AAP cluster or clusters. Set this up for up to 3 clusters if you have them. If you don't have 3, you can leave it just as it is, and you'll be off and running. So I'm going to save this file. And now there's just basically a podman command to copy it in. And then there's a podman exec command to actually run it and verify things actually work. So success, obviously if you get a success, that means it's good. If not, then there may be some extra piece that you need to do. So I can have it do some sync data. So I can do some non-interactive or interactive. So I can do, there's a command, basically A, to verify that the dashboard container is running, which it should be. Helps if I don't add in the extra line. So, yep, my automation dashboard is up and running. And I can run this to basically a podman command to do some data sync, because right now there's absolutely nothing in there. So I can follow the prompts that come up. So I can either say, yep, syncing data is going to take a long time, or I can provide an interval via the non-interactive mode. And this will provide some amount of information. So I can do something like, since 2025, 12/20 until 2025, 12/22. So it'll give a much shorter period. And and then I can click run. It'll take a little bit as it goes through the process. So it's going to slowly start syncing in, and I should see something like successfully created sync. Then all I really need to do is actually log in. So I'm going to log in as a regular user. I will note in my platform, I do want regular users to be able to log in. So in my platform gateway, I do have it set where external users can create OAuth 2 tokens, which is necessary if you want a non-local user to be able to log in. So kind of an important step if you want that. But I should be able to now, log out. Now I can switch over to the automation dashboard and log in here. Obviously, it will redirect me back to the automation platform. So I'm going to log in as my user, not the admin user this time, just to verify that external users can connect. And click login. It's going to ask me to actually do the authorization. Click authorize, and then it will log in. So it does have data because I did tell it to pull data from the 20th through today. So that's why there is some existing data in there. If you don't do that step, it will look blank the first time that you log in. But I can see that I can already start doing ROI calculations where I might need to add in the average cost per minute of running manually, average cost per minute running jobs on AAP, and also the time to create the automation. All of this factors into those ROI calculations. So make sure if you don't care about actually the time to create the automation, maybe someone did it for you, you can uncheck that and it will remove it from the table if you actually uncheck it. So just things to think about as you go through that process. Now it's gone, now it's not factored in. So it gives you all kinds of options. And then within the dashboard itself, you can filter off of labels, organizations, projects, templates, pick a specific duration, and then you can save reports as you go through. So this gives you a lot of flexibility where I can say, hey, I only care about my security organization of the month to date, and then I can save that as a report, save it as a PDF. Really gives you a lot of flexibility based on what access or what sort of reports different users want to leverage. So I highly encourage you, take the opportunity, set this to be how you need it, save as many reports as you need. Then users can come log in and take advantage of those reports without needing to necessarily be an expert in developing ROI, developing cost savings. It just becomes part of the platform itself. So that was a quick walkthrough of how you can install the automation dashboard and connect it to an existing cluster. So it gives you a lot of opportunities, especially if you have multiple clusters, to pretty easily show what sort of cost savings that you have. I'm going to include in the description down below, there's an interactive walkthrough that you can click through to show the dashboard without needing to install it yourself. And then I'll also include the installation docs so you can walk through exactly what I did to get the automation dashboard stood up in your environment. Thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit more about the automation dashboard. Hopefully it gives you a good idea of how you can start showing ROI without needing to do too much setup on your side. Click my picture on the right to subscribe. Click the image on the left to watch another video.